Good evening. It is time, brothers and sisters, for the Hillbilly Think Tank with me, Spencer Keck. I'm recording from Tunnel Hills here in Hardin County, Kentucky. And today was another beautiful day to live in Kentucky. Temps were right there in the sweet 60s. The sun came out. My pups were frisky with delight and living again. Have you ever looked at your life and just marveled at how you got here? I marvel many days at how I survived a childhood of abuse after my mom ripped me from the loving embrace of her Kentucky parents and took my brother and me to Texas, where she eventually married a maniac that beat us in the name of Proverbs 13. Oof. When I say beaten, I mean beaten too. We ended up living in Florida, Texas, Kentucky, Arkansas, Montana, and even Jamaica as we moved every 6 to 18 months before I eventually took my last beating at the age of 18 in Brazoria, Texas, and reunited with my dad and maternal grandparents before going on ahead and joining the U.S. Navy. Now, I got to partake in combat in the first Gulf War, and as a U.S. Navy hospital corpsman, half of my time was spent with the Marines, the Marine Infantry. So on September 11th of 2001, I was with the Marines. We were training in the outback of Australia when the attack happened. So there I went. Got another combat action ribbon under my belt. And I'm just amazed that I'm here, you know? And I guess once again, folks are crying to give war a chance, right? Just, I guess we've been far too long now with a long, protracted war. So, looks like it's time to do it again. We have so many U.S. Navy ships off the coast of Venezuela, Trinidad, Tobago, down in Panama, just rip roaring to get down there and do something in Venezuela. You know, they got a lot of oil down there. I guess we don't have enough cheap oil over here anymore. And we've now, the tally of people we have killed in these small little boats is 80. We never did any boarding operations. Like I said, when I was part of Navy Marine Corps team, that was my favorite type of raid to do, was to go either fast rope onto a ship at sea or take a fast moving small boat from a larger ship, run it over to an either smaller ship or a much larger ship, board that vessel, send some folks to the engine room with guns to take out the engine room, make sure the ship wasn't going to move, run up to the bridge, secure that so no one could steer the ship. And then we would go search the ship, find out, hey, do these guys have any contraband? Are there any stolen vehicles? Yeah, actually would see stolen Mercedes Benzes in the Persian Gulf frequently in that area. Stolen anything, other contraband, drugs, weapons. Man, just what's more fun than sliding down a rope like the ones you used to have in the gym, right? With really thick welder's gloves on, tossing those gloves into your bag that you had in the back when you got your hands on your weapon and you just locked, cocked, and ready to roll, you know? Go in there, find out, hey, do they have these things that we're looking for and worried about? If they didn't, sorry for bothering y'all. We're keeping the seas safe for commerce. And if they did have stuff they shouldn't have, zip tie everybody, send them to court, send them to jail. No need to murder folks. 80 folks now killed on boats that are so easy to board. you know, but we're itching to do something. We need that Venezuelan oil for free. Well, I was watching a documentary last night about the Gulf War syndrome. A lot of us, we came back from that first Gulf War. We had amazing illnesses that just kept popping up. Skin rashes wouldn't go away. Upper respiratory infections, constant, wouldn't go away. Developed into more serious diseases, neurological diseases that would debilitate guys that had never smoked. And all of a sudden now, they've got neurological diseases, breathing problems, and they go from being fit warriors, athletes, to their families having to take care of them. Oh, man. Help them go to the bathroom, help them barely move around the house, to being immobile completely and then dying. And this started soon after the first Persian Gulf War. Now, folks, I breathed in so many oil fields that were burning. We go through and watch the hair on my arms just turn completely black, and my arm turned black. Any exposed skin black. Breathing in that crap in my lungs. I've had sinus infections, upper respiratory infections 3, 4, 5 times a year since that war. Wasn't till only about 2021, I finally got a really good nurse practitioner in the VA. This is after I'd done a whole 20-year career that retired in 2014. Well, joined in 90, so I retired in 2014. And, I was also in Afghanistan, first in after the attack, like I said, with the Marines. We were in the 15th Marine Expeditionary Unit. We were in Australia when the attack happened. We were the first ones in Pakistan, Afghanistan. Right? Man, we've had so many amazing illnesses. And I say amazing because they amaze the healthcare providers. But for years after that first Gulf War, folks dying their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, by the thousands, more dying from this mysterious illness than died in combat. In that really quick video game war, as some people have dubbed it. But they kept saying, oh, it's just a mental illness. It's in their head. Right? They betrayed us year after year after year after year. It wasn't until finally when the Obama administration said, no, that's it. We are going to register everybody that has these symptoms and is claiming they have these illnesses. It's known that we burnt all kinds of stuff besides just the oil fields. It wasn't just the remnants of the burning oil that came down on us. There was depleted uranium shells used. That hurt lots of guys. But oh no, that didn't do anything. The EPA actually came out and did air quality tests on the fast frigate I was in after weeks and weeks and weeks of going through the burning oil clouds. 10 o'clock in the morning looked like it was midnight. And, we couldn't see the sun. I watched birds dive into the sea to try to get some fish. They couldn't get out of that water. The oil slick was so thick. Right? Mm. You talk about living fucking hell that we were floating through, breathing. Guys that were on land for that, they were walking through that in the desert, burning oil fields all around them. And yet, oh no, they told us for years that was just in our mind. It was a mental thing going on with us. There wasn't any cause for this illness that was anything to do with combat exposure. We know now bullshit. So many of us registered finally when the Obama administration say we're going to look at all these guys, register them all, examine them all. And a lot more of us got VA ratings that recognized, man, we were being crippled, disabled. You know, finally getting, for some of us, the treatment we needed, you know. But it was far too late for those brothers and sisters we had died, that had passed on, kids born with birth defects, to us veterans that have been in that first Gulf War. You know, I watched so many people get ravaged. I was a hospital corpsman. In the Army, they would call us combat medics. I was a field medical technician, according to the Navy, when I got my first training as an 8404. Oh, man. The ravages of war, man, that 20-year war that came with that Operation Enduring Freedom, then Operation Iraqi Freedom, 20-year war. But I guess we haven't been out of war long enough now. We need to go back to one. Straight back. Let's go, boys. You know, either there's going to be martial law on the streets or war in Venezuela or both. But what are we going to do for these vets? We're not doing enough now. Doge, from January till we know when they supposedly closed up shop. They haven't. Musk left. Doge is still, the effects are still around. They have all of our social security numbers now, all of our health record information. All right. But what did they do to the VA? They've trashed it, reduced the amount of folks that work there so much that there's a backlog for those of us that need to get looked at to get our compensation for the devastation of the disabilities that we gave because we love our country so much. I love the USA. Love it so much. Only thing I love more than the USA is Kentucky. And yet, we're now going to send more people for oil wells. This is, come on, can this abide? Really? And I used to joke, and I was serious. Oh man, when are they going to send us somewhere to fight where it'd be fun? You know? When are they going to send us somewhere where we're not sitting in the desert eating sandflies and getting bit by sandflies? Yeah. Where can we go where we can chase the pretty senoritas when we're got our spare time from combat? You know? Well, heck, now, man, I'm married, got my own beautiful, beautiful senorita. Don't need to go chase women overseas in combat. You know, none of that old, worn out stuff that, yeah, it was fun back in the day when I was single. to think about that, knock indoors, and then in my spare time, do other stuff that, men like to do overseas. But for what? Nah, it's a fun joke. But the reality of combat, of seeing kids that I'm now teaching in public schools go get sent off to Venezuela to get shot, wounded, ravaged, and then their nation abandon them. Come on, man. We can do better. We can do far better than this. You know, we want people to serve our country, to protect it. We don't need to go down to Venezuela under false pretexts. No. If we're going to go, just be honest. Say, hey, we're sending your kids over there because they got vast deposits of oil. They got lots of other precious earth resources that we want to. Just be honest about it. We really had enough of 20 years of BS, the war that drug on and on and on. And we left too many people behind in the dust after it was all over. Too many of us vets. Now, we already know, as I said, just a week ago, one of the leaders of Al Qaeda is now the leader of Syria, and he was invited to the White House, had a blast and a party with our current president. So, how long will it be before we get a despot put in place there in Venezuela to come hang out in the White House, drink champagne, enjoy Mar-a-Lago strippers, Mar-a-Lago parties with the president once we get the oil and precious earth we want? Is that worth Kentucky sons and daughters? Really? I don't think so. Come on. Give our young fighting men and women something to really stand up and be proud of. Defending our country from real enemies, not ones that we're going to cook up under false flag operations. We had enough of that. We already had a lie to get us into Iraq, yellow cake uranium that didn't exist. No. Took our eye off the ball in Afghanistan to go waste our time in Iraq when we should have taken care of Afghanistan, taken out the brutal guy who attacked us while I was on deployment in 2001, taking him straight out, gotten the mission done, and come on back home with honor. But instead, you're leaving too many of us vets suffering, untreated, uncared for. We won't fucking have that again. There's enough of us that have seen the true price we know the true cost of war. And these hearts won't take it. We won't stand idly by to watch the kids that I'm teaching in public school get marched off for what? So the oligarchs can have more while we get less? Remember, you do a career in the military these days, You don't get a pension anymore. You only get a 501k. It's called the Thrift Savings Plan, and it all runs on how good the stock market does. Oh man, that's not the retirement that I wanted. Thank God I retired before that came. So it's time to demand better from our elected representatives. Elect better folks that will not stand for this, that will not send our kids to this crap anymore. All right, y'all. Love your neighbors as yourselves. I know I do. We are our brothers' keepers. We're our sisters' keepers. We're all in this together. Y'all have a great night. And again, remember, November 18th tomorrow, I'll be right back at you. This is a shout out to my grandsons, Aiden, Aaron, Abner. Y'all have a great night.